Welcome to my Loki guide in Marvel Rivals. The video will be split into 3 sections, one being the basics of his abilities, second will be his advanced tips for his abilities and his kit, and then third will be gameplay clips. This covers more in-game situations and strategy, and stuff I don't mention in the tips. My name is Big Bodstar, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so Loki's basic abilities. First off, he's got his basic attack, which does a small explosion around it, and he has 10 shots before he has to make a reload. Now, Loki's basic attacks deal damage, but also heal your teammates. Loki's first ability, Deception, makes a illusion of himself, as well as going invisible at the same time. The next ability, Doppleganger, lets you spawn a Loki clone in a location that you pick. Now, this Doppelganger will look exactly like you to the enemy, and pretty much do everything that you do apart from moving. Probably should mention, Loki can only have 2 Doppelgangers out at once, so once you make a third one, it will replace the first one that you put down. The next ability, Regeneration Domain, which spawns a rune, which does this AoE healing area. And it also deploys on your doppelgangers as well. For his last basic ability, he can swap between his doppelgangers. And last, his ultimate, which is the God of Mischief, where you shapeshift into the target and be able to use all their abilities. And this is why you come to my content, because there's actually one more that we miss, and that is Backstab. So every hero in the game has a basic melee attack, but Loki's actually has more damage when dealt from behind. That's all the basic stuff out of the way. Now we'll get into the advanced tips and tricks with Loki. Now with Loki's basic attacks, the main thing you want to take into consideration is best way to land your shots on targets. A lot of stuff is happening all around, moving and everything. So the best way to aim is at the ground below your enemy. This way you're pretty much guaranteed getting a hit with the blast radius. One thing to note is that the damage does have a fall off from the ground. So as you can see, we're doing very little damage from the edge of the blast radius compared to one underneath. It pretty much does half the damage. So as we do want to aim for the ground, we do want to aim for as close as we can to the target. But even if we do hit the ground next to him, that's still more damage than missing. Aiming at the floor is the best option. Now, for healing your teammates though, this doesn't seem to be the case. So that's why Loki is a strategist instead of a DPS, because healing is his priority. But yes, best course of action is to aim at the feet of your teammates. Just aim at the ground in general. Now, one important thing to note is that Loki cannot heal himself with his basic attacks. So if you aim at the ground, I cannot heal myself with my orders. The only way I can heal myself is with the shift. So just keep that in mind when you're in a pickle. Now, one of the best ways to use the rune is that you're pretty much going to be sitting in the back line because of being a strategist. So if you do have teammates in need, you can quickly place one and then pop your rune instantly. One important thing to note with the rune is that it does do the healing over time, but it also converts incoming damage into further healing. So this ability can be a huge game changer for your team, and use it wisely. Now, the one weakness to this ability is that you can actually destroy these. So if you are versing smarter enemies, they will target these and they will break very quickly. A few things to note with your invisibility: it is pretty weak for the majority of the part, but one thing that you can do is swap between your doppelgangers and still stay invisible. But as soon as you shoot, you'll come out of it. You can just use the ability again to come out of it. Using your healing ability gets you out of it, as well as your ultimate. So pretty much doing anything will get you out of the invisibility. Taking damage will also reveal Loki. So the main tip with this is that if the enemy is in front of you, for example, and they are shooting at you, the best thing to do is walk backwards and deploy your clone, and then they'll start taking the aggro. When you go invis, it will pretty much be left behind you in the direction that you are moving. So if I'm moving forward, the doppelganger will be left behind. If I'm walking backwards, it will be left in front of me. This ability does not get you any more movement speed, so you really want to use it for your disengage. Now, getting hit is one thing, but did you know that actually just being tagged physically by an enemy stops you from being invisible as well? So, boop. yes, an enemy just clipping you with their model will take you out of Invis. So Loki's best way of getting around the map is spawning a doppelganger as far as possible and then swapping to that doppelganger. Good thing to note is that you don't have to have line of sight with your doppelganger, you just have to be in the area. So as soon as you can see that it's saying to swap, you can swap between. So having one doppelganger somewhere hidden is actually pretty effective. If you are in a pickle, you don't even have to be looking at your extra doppelganger. So let's say if Iron Man was about to ult me, I can just hit the button and then I swap immediately with the closest doppelganger. So if you are in a pickle, the best way is to spawn a clone and then just start mashing that swap button. Now, while you are invisible, you can still spawn other clones. The only real benefit from this is just trying to deceive your enemy and trick them into where or which one you actually are. By swapping into one, you'll make this one disappear, and then essentially they can think that this was you that just went invisible, but actually you've teleported from somewhere else and gone here. So you can really mess with the enemy. And that's the main reason why Loki is the God of Mischief. Now, the actual placement of the doppelgangers, it is good to have them spread out across the map. This just makes it harder for the enemy to target you in one go. And as well, then you've got a volley of shots coming from multiple directions. And then if the enemy does start targeting you and they know it's you, you can quickly swap out, get good damage on the enemy or heal your teammates still. For sustained healing, having your clone spaced out is better for your teammates as well. By having them spread out, you can see all the shots come in at different times. So heal, heal, heal. Because the enemy heroes aren't most likely going to be one-shotting your team, so having this heal, heal, heal is pretty effective. Like I said before though, you can really save your team by quickly deploying a clone and dropping your heals straight away. This can prevent big incoming damage sources from hitting your teammates and heals your team as quickly as possible. For your quickest damage combo, so just click, click, because these are on a recharge cooldown, so you can spawn both of them. And then just start shooting at your teammates or the enemy. Now, if you've only got one charge, you can just deploy one, go invis, and then you've got 3. So you don't even need your 2 charges. But this leaves you at a disadvantage of being all clumped up in the one spot. Your invisibility is on cooldown, and if you swap, you're not going far. But this is definitely your most amount of damage that you can pull off, so... And speaking of damage, I haven't tried this yet, so expect to see some clips of this in the future. But going invis, spawning a clone, and then meleeing is actually Loki's most amount of DPS, so we'll see how effective this is. Maybe you can get one swing in and then just start shooting, but this means that you'll be in a very, very dangerous spot behind the enemy. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So they were Loki's offensive combos. Now his defensive ones, deploy a doppelganger, shift to it, and then go invisible as fast as possible. So deploy, shift, and go invis. This is the best way to get out of any sticky situation. Once again, deploy, change. One thing to know as well with Loki's doppelgangers, they do stay alive even if you die. So if I'm coming back into the game from the respawn area, I can still heal my teammates with my ability and by shooting my teammates still with my clones. The aiming is a little bit weird to get used to, but it's best just to keep shooting on your way back to the fight. Another unique thing with Loki, I feel like he has the most destructive power in the game with both doppelgangers out. So if there's a lot of cover in the map for the attackers or defenders, Loki is the best to clear that cover out of the way. As you can see, for some reason, Loki's destructive power is just ridiculous. Now, the only tips I can give with his ultimate ability, Shapeshift, learn the heroes. By learning each of the heroes, you have a better understanding of the game and which ultimates to steal. One of the highest skilled heroes, because knowing the other heroes is going to be important to you. Now, with the other tip, if you are taking control of a tank, you will have the bonus health and shielding, but beware, when you come out of it, you'll go back to your squishy form. This is most likely when you'll get absolutely annihilated trying to take aggro for your team, and you'll just change back to your squishy Loki and get instantly killed. So make sure you have a clone straight away, so when you come out of it, you just hit that ability to switch up. Now, once again, I do want to reiterate that Loki is a strategist, so you do want to prioritize your team's health and survivability over your DPS. So you always want to aim for your teammates in need over going for damage on the enemy in most circumstances. Now, Loki's team up ability, he only has one in the game and he can't really do much about it. It is with Hela. So when Hela gets a kill on an enemy, she actually grants Loki and Thor a shield. And the other one being, if you actually die, when Hela gets a kill, she will bring you back into the fight. So this triple team up is pretty nasty. If you do have a Hela on your team, Loki is a good strategist to go for because she does get a 20% damage boost as well, which is pretty hefty. And then you have a chance of being rezzed by Hela dealing damage. So if you have a good Hela, Loki is a really good pick here. I think that's pretty much everything I've covered with Loki. He does have a lot to his kit, which I'm still learning myself. But for now, we'll go into some gameplay clips. Gameplay clips because I'm sure I've missed something here in the training that I can't replicate in game. So as you can see, I've positioned myself and some clones at the top. I can see my teammate goes really low. As soon as you see that red health plus, just start aiming your fire onto them and then back onto the enemy. Now in this clip, I actually do something which I didn't mention, is that I use my clones as my front line essentially. They do die pretty quick, but it stops the damage from hitting me, and then I can still just continuously fire onto the enemy. And manage to pick up as well a triple kill. 2, okay. 3, or not? On this one, we had a strange portal at the base, just deploying as many doppelgangers as I can to give my teammates the healing and damage that I can.
This bitch has
I gotcha, just stay on point,
point.
Now, as soon as I get in actually onto the point, popping the rune to save myself.
Yeah. No, the wall.
And then just trying to deal as much damage and heal Rocket as best as I can as stay on point. Now, one thing here, I think I should have used my invisibility and just stayed on the point with actually just chilling and not doing anything. That could have saved the game for us, but that's something I've learned just from watching. And this next one, just playing with the team, following my tank Thor, making sure he stays alive and actually going onto the back line with him. Coming. When I drop down, I do go invisible to deploy another doppelganger to heal quicker. Now, as soon as I hear myself go low, popping the rune again to save myself. This can just give you a good few seconds to recoup, and probably just calling out to your teammates that you're popping your heal so then they can stand next to one of your doppelgangers. And something else.
Oh, Birdie, your clone trapped him.
And yeah, maybe that's a strat, using your doppelgangers to block off and secure doors and entrances. Onto this next one, just got some high ground again. So just raining down fire on the enemy and then aiming for heals. I feel like we were winning this fight, so I do change to again and actually get some ultis off, which is probably the funnest thing about Loki's kit, is that you do have the chance to use more than your own kit in a game. I'm doing it. And I think that spices up gameplay really well. In this clip, you can see I respawn and just start shooting. If my heal hits anyone, then it heals them, which is good, or deals damage to the enemy, either way. Running back into the fight, just trying to heal my teammates and deal damage. Once again, going to low health, popping the rune, and no one's dealing with this Iron Man, so I decide I'll deal with him. Use my ultimate, take over Iron Man, take out the Moon Knight, take out the Iron Man, pop the ulti, big whiff. But then we do take out Penny and Luna as well. Now, one thing with that, you just do have to be mindful that your team won't be getting the healing because you've changed it over to a DPS essentially. So make sure that you do have at least one healer alive when you do ultimate. But that's pretty much everything for my Loki guide. If you did learn something from this, please leave a like and subscribe for more guides in the future. And if I missed anything, please let me know in the comment section below, as I still want to learn everything to do with these heroes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.